What's going on, guys? It's Elias. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about Acura's Type S lineup, the upcoming Type S lineup that Acura has planned. I've been trying to make a video for you guys on this for quite a while. I haven't been able to find the right words to kind of explain what's going on with Acura. You know, for a long time, Acura was an awesome brand. We used to own an Acura TL Type S, and that was an awesome car, a 6-speed manual. It was super fun, 200 horsepower, K24 engine. It was just a really nice car. Nowadays, I don't really see the point of Acura these days. You know, the NSX was a flop. The ILX is a terrible car. You know, so before we get into it, let's go ahead and make sure and let's look back in history and see what Acura was. When I was growing up, Acura was known as a very formidable brand. They had things like this Acura Legend that you see here. The Acura Legend was, in fact, a legend. People actually knew what the Legend was. Acura was so afraid that people will forget what an Acura was and instead only recognize the name Legend. That stupid of them, I think, but they actually canceled the name Legend. You don't see Honda Legend or Acura Legends anywhere else anymore. I think that was a big mistake because back then the Acura Legend was a game changer. It was one of the best cars you can buy. I know it was only front wheel drive, but even with front wheel drive, you still had a very nice V6 engine. It was super nice engine and it was actually pretty powerful. You could even get it in a 6-speed manual. That was unheard of back in the early 90s. I mean, it was such an awesome car. Not only was Acura known for its luxury from the Legend, but it's also known for its performance. The Acura Type R was another game changer for its day. It was one of the best, if not the best, front-wheel drive car you could buy for the money. I mean, it was super fun, had great handling, had an awesome B18C VTEC engine pushing 200 horsepower, which was an awesome amount of horsepower per liter from a naturally aspirated car. And you just don't see that anymore these days. Everyone misses the Acura Type R. They miss it so much now that for a pristine version of the Acura Type R, you're gonna pay a pretty penny. I've seen them go for $40, $50, $60,000. That's a lot of money for an Acura. In short, the Acura of the 90s was known to be a decently luxurious car company with great engines and great handling all around. It was just a really nice car to have, and I remember those were the heydays of Acura. Now, early in the 2000s, Acura and Honda started losing their mojo. Now, this is what you're looking at here is the RSX Type S, and the RSX was actually a really nice car for its time. However, it lost its double wishbone suspension. It just wasn't the car that we expected to have from Acura. We went from the Integra to the RSX Type S, and if you ask me which car I'd rather have between the Integra and the RSX, I'd always pick the Integra. Nowadays, if you walk into the Acura dealership looking for something kind of luxurious but more performance oriented, you're going to be greeted with two possible choices, the Acura ILX or the Acura TLX. Now, the ILX, honestly, one of the more underwhelming cars out there. It's based off the 9th gen Civic, which if you know anything about the 9th gen Civic, that car was not very well regarded by pretty much anybody. It was a cost-cutting measure from Honda. Now, it's still a good car, it's still, decent bones, but the chassis, everything was just not really as good as it should be. And honestly, they really need to refresh the ILX. I don't know what they're going to do with it. And the other choice, the TLX, really does not do it for me. It's just a large sedan, a larger version of this. You can get the V6 all-wheel drive on that, and that's pretty decent. And honestly, if you compare it to a BMW or Mercedes or any of the other competitors for its class, the only thing it's got going for it is it's a little bit less expensive. And honestly, that's not where Acura should be these days. Now, one of the better offerings that Acura does have is the Acura RDX. The RDX is actually a really compelling option that you can get with some pretty nice features, including, in fact, a detuned version of the Civic Type R engine, that 2-liter engine that I love so much. I think it's a gem of an engine. I'm so happy to see Acura put it to good use here. As you can see through these videos, it's also got SH all-wheel drive or super handling all-wheel drive. It's a fancy torque venturing all-wheel drive that honestly should be on every single Acura car they sell. It's available on many different Acura models, but it should be standard. It's just an awesome thing to have, and it's good to see it in action, as you can see here. So where does this leave Acura going forward? Well, looking at the Type S here, it gives you a good idea of where Acura is heading in the future. Now, I think there's a couple of things they should be doing to capitalize on what this means for Acura. So real quick, looking at this Type S concept, it does excite me in many ways. I think they're getting back to their performance roots, and that's really what Acura should be capitalizing on. I mean, the Acura Type R, the Legend, the original NSX. I mean, the original NSX was such a great car for its time, and a great car, a great value, that it's really hard to beat and replicate these days. The NSX was a game changer of its time. I mean, Art and Senna helped develop it, and it was just such a great car. The replacement, however, I just don't like it. I mean, I've covered it in different videos, and it does things really well, but the weight of it, the fact that it's a hybrid, I mean, all of these things just add up to something that's underwhelming. We expected something of a revival, and we got something completely different to what we expected. I think that's one of the things that Acura actually got wrong recently. But the future does have me excited. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about the TLX Type S concept. They call it a concept, but this is basically what we're going to get from Acura coming very soon. What should we expect, and what do I want to see? Well, I want them to keep curb weight under 4,000 pounds. It's kind of difficult to do that for an all-wheel drive semi-large sedan, but I think they can do it. If they can keep the curb weight around 3,500 or 3,600 pounds, I think it'll be a winner. I think they should offer 2 engine choices, and only 2 engine choices. They should offer a 2-liter turbo from the RDX, which is basically a detuned Civic Type R engine. I think that engine is an incredible engine for what it is. It is super powerful, super torquey, and it's super fun. I think it's a gem of an engine. I love it in my Type R. You guys have seen me rag on that thing on the racetrack a bunch of times. It's a lovely engine. I think their turbocharged V6, which is going to be exclusive to Acura, is something of a question. I'm not sure what it's going to be like. I think if they can somehow get the horsepower to be above 400, it'll be a game changer. Will they do that? I highly doubt it. The Honda likes to play it safe, and Acura is a subsidiary of Honda, so they're probably going to go between 350 and 370 horsepower, let's say 360. And with 360 horsepower, it's going to be fine. It's not going to light anyone's pants on fire, but it should be pretty quick with the all-wheel drive. And with its looks like this, I mean, this car looks really nice. It shouldn't have any problem selling. Now, it's going to be going up against some hard competition. Am I going to get the TLX all-wheel drive with the big V6 turbo, or am I going to get the new Corvette for $60,000? I don't know. That's kind of a tough question, right? One more thing Honda could do to differentiate this new upcoming TLX Type S from the competition is to offer it with a manual transmission. Now there's no word yet on whether or not it's going to be offered in manual. I highly recommend that they do, but something tells me it's just not going to happen. They're going to stick to their dual clutches or their super fast automatic transmissions, and they'll be just fine, but honestly they'd be missing out on those sales of those manual transmission cars. Now, another thing that they're doing right is opening up this performance center right here that you're watching right here. So the NSX gets built here, and a few select Acura cars are also built here, and it's really awesome that they do this. I think they should expand on this, and when they release more Type S products, they should have Type S products all go through this factory to go through the same inspection process and building process that this manufacturing facility has. Now, this facility is actually in the United States, right here in Ohio, I believe, and it's really awesome that they do that. These are all, it's almost handmade. Their paint process is super good. It's one of the best paint processes you can see out there right now. It's not going to be cheap, but I think the premium quality of it is going to attract that right buyer. And honestly, if I was going to buy an Acura, I would love it to go through this process, and I would love to buy it right from here. Finally, the biggest thing I want to see from Acura is a good replacement for the ILX. I think they can really replace the ILX with something wonderful, and they can maybe even call it an Integra. Wouldn't it be amazing to get a brand new Acura Type R based on the 10th Gen Civic platform? In fact, get a 10th Gen Civic SI or sedan, completely reshape the body, throw in a Type R engine in there, get a fast shifting 8 or 10 speed transmission in there, and I think it'll do wonders for the brand. I would love to see something like that come out from Acura. Also, possibly all-wheel drive. Can you imagine an all-wheel drive sedan from Acura with the Type R engine and a fast shifting 10-speed or 8-speed automatic with an optional manual? I think that would be a killer deal. People will be lining up down the street to buy one. It'll be a WRX killer. It'll be an STI killer. Honestly, I think people will prefer it over the Civic Type R, the FK8 Type R. Because one of the biggest complaints is that the FK8 does not have all-wheel drive. Well, this Acura is able to get all-wheel drive, and if it had that plus the Type R engine plus the performance, I think it'll be a world beater. So Acura, if you're listening, please make that car for us. I'll be one of the first guys to line up for it. I would love to pick it up, and I would get it over pretty much anything else. So please build the car, Acura. We're begging you to do it. We want you to come back. Alright guys, that pretty much does it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, put it down below. Appreciate your time. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.